Stop it. Good morning. Whoa.
So, injury situation, Sidney Jones, do you think you said earlier
Sidney's
in the
doing
week you
well.
thought-
Yeah, he's doing well. He practiced yesterday. He'll practice all week, actually. He'll get out there again today, so fully expect him to go Sunday.
What's going on with Deshaun? Has he been able to do the running you were talking about?
He has, and he's progressed each day. He's done a nice job with that. We'll do it again today, and the key is for him just to make sure there's not a lot of soreness or pain dealing with after a workout. So, but he's doing well.
Doug, you have a lot of history with the Vikings over the past couple of years. A little bit of a change offensively, but defensively, Mike's been there for a long time. What do you expect to see from that group?
This is an aggressive group. Good pass rush, good blitz package on third down. His guys know this scheme inside and out, and he's got good personnel on defense, and so it makes it tough. It makes it a challenge. You got to be able to handle their front four, obviously, and they rotate, 5, 6, 7 guys in there, and they're all capable of rushing the passer. So, and then the challenge obviously is to do that with noise, and crowd noise. So he does a great job of coaching them up, and they fly around. But again, this is an aggressive group. It's good defense.
Doug, with so much 12 personnel part of the game plan, is it sort of dangerous to go into a game with just 2 active tight ends, or would you like to have a third one there?
Well, we count Big V as a third tight end in certain situations, but obviously, probably not going to throw him the ball much. It's we look at it. We make sure both our guys are healthy going into the game and they feel good. We try to give them, as much rest as we can. But listen, it is what it is right now where we're at. If it was Christmas every day, we'd have a third tight end, but we got to make it work with what we have.
Speaking along such lines, with Corey Clement not practicing, are you going to need to do something at running back?
We're going to take a look at that. The next today and this week, we obviously have Boston Scott on practice squad, so it's a possibility for us.
With Sid, will you be able to give him a full workload Sunday as far as you?
I think so, based on what we've seen in practice this week. So yeah, I would anticipate that. Yeah.
Doug, after the game, this past game, you kind of take me back a little bit.
Take me back.
You clearly weren't happy about the offensive performance. And I'm just wondering how you view things when you are an offensive-minded head coach. Do you have to are you harder on yourself because of that? Are you harder on the team because of that, or do you have to balance it out, make sure this is there's 3 units to
No,
this
and
thing?
that's a great question because I catch myself thinking about that. I'm hard on myself being an offensive guy. So number one, I start with me and obviously hold myself accountable for some of that. I also have to look back on a Monday and a Tuesday when you get time to sort of look at it with different eyes and maybe go back and rewatch the game. And as I mentioned Monday, I think it's never as bad as you think, and it's really never as good as you think. And really, we actually played pretty well. We didn't execute well, but we actually performed our assignments and our jobs, from that standpoint, well. So you go, okay, take a deep breath, relax, it'll be okay. And then I look at what the Jets do defensively, and that scheme is a little unique. And they did a great job against us as well. So that disrupted some of our timing, and kind of caused those feelings that I had after the game.
When you are harder on yourself because you are, that's why you were brought in. That's why Jeffrey's always kind of favored having offensive-minded head coaches. Does that factor in it too? Because you feel like, okay, I have this responsibility, especially when the league is slanted increasingly towards offense. Do you factor that into like, okay, the offense has got to be able to perform because that's what more.
Well, I want all 3 phases as the head coach. I want all 3 phases to perform and perform well. Defense was outstanding on Sunday, and obviously praise them for their performance. But yeah, when you're on the offensive side of the ball as much as I am, you definitely want, and you look around the league and you see what's going on. I can't compare our team to other offenses because we're different. but at the same time, we can make what we have better. And no, we don't have all our pieces. We're missing Deshaun right now, and Sproles is missing right now. But we get these guys back, and we'll see. I think there was glimpses of that, in the Redskin game early in the season. So, I know what we're capable of, but I can't get into the compare game with what other teams are doing because, I don't know their scheme, and our personnel is a little bit different.
Doug, when you have a game like that where you're up 14-0 really quickly, 21-0 at the half, and you know that your opponent is going to have trouble scoring, will you go vanilla typically in the second half like that, or
No.
show your most creative stuff?
No, I try not to because this is the National Football League and anything can happen. I mean, you could be an injury away, and next thing you know, here comes the other team. And I think once you show that as a coach or a player and you put that on tape, that's the wrong message you want to send. And so I talk to the team a lot about that we're going to maintain our aggressiveness. Now, obviously, you get in the fourth quarter, it might be a different story if the game's, in check. But up until that point, man, we're still playing. We're still going to stay aggressive and maintain that aggressiveness and try to score as much as we can if we can.
What is your process for reviewing that film? Do you try to get into it the same day? How many times do you watch it? Are you with other coaches, or do you just like to do it yourself? Can you kind of explain that part?
Usually after the game, I don't watch the game. After the game, I wait. I just try to, I process a lot of things. I go back and just think about the game and go through the stat book and think about some of the decisions in the game and go that route. Kind of clear my head. Monday, come in and watch it by myself Monday, just to kind of get a feel again to see if, the conviction was either right or wrong, one way or the other. Then watch it again as a staff. And then even during the week, I find myself going back and, I think about something as I'm game planning for the next week. I think about something, so I want to go back and maybe rewatch that portion of the game, or again go back and, watch a set of plays that were maybe a decision or something that I made in the game, like the fourth downs, for instance, and look at it that way, and then come away with, kind of more conclusions, and that's where you start either feeling better or worse, but in this case, felt better, after watching it a few times.
What does the league have to say about the holding calls that you sent in?
John and I will get together today. I haven't talked to him yet on that, so I'll find out.
Doug, you returning to Minnesota, obviously, this week. Do you mention that to the players? It's something that you embrace, something that you address? I mean, it's obviously
I won't address it from the standpoint of what we did, a couple years ago, but I'll address it from the standpoint of, this is the next game for us. It's a great opponent. It's going to be hostile. The crowd's in their favor. We got to handle the crowd noise much like we did, in the Atlanta game this season. So, it's going to be a different environment. I mean, the building's the same, but we still have to go play, and I'm not worried about what happened in the past. It's all about what's in front of us right now.
Doug, as far as Rasul Douglas goes, what kind of growth have you seen in his game, from rookie year until now?
I think the biggest thing is just his confidence level. It's gotten greater. The more he's played, the more he's settled in. He understands his strengths and weaknesses, obviously, and plays to those. But the confidence in what he is capable of doing, and just sometimes has that knack for a ball, and ball comes his way. It's either a breakup or an interception, and he's played well. He's learned to tackle. He's learned to be a little more aggressive there, and that's been part of just his process, as a young player.
Doug, on Wednesday when you spoke about Sidney having to break through, could you clarify that a little more and get a little more detail into what you meant by that? What does he have to do to kind of
I think
mentally
yeah.
get
No, I think what happens is sometimes even think of a player, or think of the times when you've been ill or sick, and you still have to go to work, and you still have to show up, and you got to sort of, you almost have to trick your body sometimes that you're okay. And and with injury, it's a little the same way. And I think about dealing with my surgery back in March. there were times when you're okay, and you just you gotta walk. You gotta be able to get on your toes. You gotta be able to run. And until you do that and gain confidence, you're probably going to hold yourself back. And, in any athlete, not just Sidney, but in any athlete's case, that is the case. We need to get them out on the practice field. We have to push them as coaches just a little bit, not risk further injury. We're not going to do that, but get them to feel comfortable and confident that everything's okay. And once they push past that barrier, then we're good. And then they learn to play that way. They learn to practice that way. And I think that's why guys like Darren Sproles, Jason Peters, the Kelseys, you look at the Fletcher Cox, Malcolm Jenkins, guys that have played for a long time, they've been able to do that. And you learn that at an early age, early in your career. And it just gives you confidence moving forward. So you're kind of pushing that threshold, you're busting through that barrier, and all things are good.
Do you think Sidney's capable of that? Do you think
I do. What he's done this week, he's really pushed himself in practice. He's challenged himself, and I've seen that with him. And that's the part that I'm probably most proud of with him. All right.